निपुणं कैवल्य निस्वार्थं वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगं श्रीदेव गोपालकं कृष्ण कीर्तन गानन तन परं प्रेमामृतां वनिधि तत्त्वातो नमसे समण्डलपति शनिं सदा तुच्छम भूत्वा दीनगणेशकं करुणया कोऽपि न कण्ठाश्रितौ तत्त्वातो नमसे समण्डलपति शनिं सदा तुच्छम भूत्वा दीनगणेशकं करुणया कोऽपि न कण्ठाश्रितौ गोपी भावरसामृताभिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नोन्मुहो वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगं श्रीजीव गोपालकौ कृष्ण कीर्तन कानन तन परं प्रेमामृतां वनिधि कृष्ण कीर्तन गानन तन परं प्रेमामृतां वनिधि कुजत कोकिलहं संसार सुगण कीर्णमयूराकुले नानारत्ननिबद्धमूलपिटप श्रीयुक्तवृन्दावने राधाकृष्णमहर्निशं प्रभजतौ जीवार्थदौ जौ बुधा वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगं श्रीजीव गोपालकं कृष्ण कीर्तन गानन तन परं प्रेमामृतां वनिधि धीराधीरजनप्रियं प्रियकरं निर्मत्सरं पूजितं शङ्खापूर्वकनामगाननतिभिः कालावसानिकृतं निद्राहारविहारकादिविदितं चत्तन्तौ दीनौ च जं शङ्खापूर्वकनामगाननतिभिः कालावसानिकृतं निद्राहारविहारकादिविदितं चत्तन्तौ दीनौ च जं गोपी भावरसामृताभिलहरी कल्लोलमग्नोन्मुहो वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगं श्रीजीव गोपालकं कृष्ण कीर्तन गानन तन परं प्रेमामृतां वनिधि कृष्ण कीर्तन गानन तन परं राधा
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the members of the Prabhupada Disciples Association and the Hare Krishna Society, which was started in 2002 by His Grace Yashodanandana Prabhu. And we're very thankful for him to do that and give us an opportunity to associate in 2024 on the principles of truth, because the truth will set you free. And if you don't hear the truth, then you will become confused. And that is the situation that many of our God brothers and God sisters are experiencing. Some are still alive, and many of them have passed from us. Because a bona fide disciple presents the bona fide guru. That's what makes that disciple authentic or truthful. Any change from that position means compromise. And this compromised world of the ISKCON society is a tragedy, because it is misleading people away from Srila Prabhupada into mental concoction and mental speculation. And the truth will set you free, and the mistruth will entangle you, could be for millions of years, in repeated births and deaths. And the guru must be authorized by his guru. These sections that I'm reading to you, I heard Prabhupada speaking yesterday in a lecture. I have a new iPad, and it's given me a chance to explore more of Prabhupada's teachings. And he mentioned in this particular class that the guru must be authorized by his guru, not by concoction. Very important point, because these current gurus were never authorized to take the position of Diksha Guru by Srila Prabhupada. No. And therefore they're bogus, and they mislead people. It's misinformation. And this is something that goes on in the Kali Yuga. Krishna is everywhere, but we cannot see him. He's everywhere in everything that we do. But Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, can reveal Krishna to his disciples because of his transcendental position as the representative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada is an expansion of Krishna, a Shaktivesh avatar. He's not an ordinary conditioned soul. He's a liberated soul. And it's apparent when you read his books. For example, The Nectar of Devotion. We're reading The Nectar of Devotion right now. It's extraordinarily detailed in terms of our ability or opportunity to understand the nature of the material situation that we're in. Because we're parts and parcels of Krishna, we actually have up to 78% of his qualities. And in the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada, through his purports, is explaining how complex Krishna's ecstasies are. Very complicated. And the different aspects of Krishna's position in the pastimes that he enacts for the conditioned soul. Here it says, it's in additional symptoms. Rupa Goswami says that fright, sleep, fatigue, laziness, and madness of intoxication are sometimes grouped under continuous symptoms of ecstatic love. False argument, determination, steadiness, remembrance, joyfulness, ignorance, humility, and unconsciousness are also different symptoms of ecstatic love. Dependence is also grouped under ecstatic love, and it goes on detail after detail after detail. And we see in our own particular characters, these characteristics are there, but they've never been uncovered. For us, you can speculate about this forever. You'll never be able to understand the details of the character of a person. But when you read Prabhupada's explanations by the grace of him and Rupa Goswami about the qualities of Krishna, you realize how intricate the material situation we're in has come about. Very intricate. And if you read these sections of Nectar of Devotion, and they're detailed, they're very detailed, you'll get a great insight into who you are and how you're positioned as the servant of Srila Prabhupada who is revealing this to us. Nobody has this information. Nobody. I don't care who you say. You can go to this so-called bogus guru or that. He's just concocting things, manufacturing things. We go to the source. In fact, it's unfortunate that due to false ego and personal ambition, whatever the reason a person undertakes this role of guru, is confusing himself and other people, and they will not make advancement in spiritual life because they're not connected. And some people think, oh, but they're chanting. I spoke to a devotee the other day, I won't mention his name, and he's telling me, well, these gurus, they chant, they assemble, they take so-called prasadam. I'm not sure how it's prasadam because of the way they offer. Oh, well, they offer it to, this was his point. Well, they offer it first to Prabhupada, and then they offer it to their guru, and it goes up the line. Well, hold on. Is that guru authorized after it's offered to Prabhupada? Is he authorized to offer it up the chain? Is he an actual guru? No. So there's a flaw there. Second, you have a situation where the person, and we have personal evidence of this from our own godbrother, Krishna Kata, in San Diego. He would go to the temple and he'd see all the pictures of these different gurus in the pujari room. Oh yeah, there they are. And then the pujari would go and take the picture of his guru, whoever that was, some kind of person that's claiming this status, and he'd offer the prasadam to him first. So someone's saying, well, they're offering it to Prabhupada. Oh, no, they're not. They're offering it to their guru and blah, blah, blah. Total confusion. Who knows what they're doing? And there was a change in the offering system, Nilesh, by one person who put out a Didi book. He said, have the person offer the food directly to Krishna because a lot of times these gurus fall down. Oh. So let's not get involved in that complicated situation. Let's go ahead, just offer it directly. That is not the way you offer your food to Krishna. You offer it through the disciplic succession to the bona fide spiritual master. And in that way, it becomes a bona fide. The prasadam will purify you. So much confusion. And this is going on in this material world. So we are here at the Prabhupada Disciples Association to tell the truth without compromise. Any compromise, sometimes people get angry with me because I'm always saying the same thing. No compromise. Oh, well, you're not compassionate. You have no mercy. You should be more tolerant. Well, we have mercy. We have tolerance. We have compassion. But the compassion and the tolerance is that we do not accept compromise. And that's to help them understand what is Guru Tattva. Hey, Vijaya Pandit, it's for their benefit and for ours to explain the truth to people. So this is our business. Another point that I wanted to make before we embark on this journey of bliss today, Satchidananda, in association with the other devotees, is the term that Mr. Trump in America, and Mr. Trump is running around doing quite a bit of stuff in the last 5 days. He's telling people, he told them at the World Economic Forum, and he's speaking in Congress and in his inauguration, it's the golden age. Interesting term, huh? Of course, where did he get this term? Because this term was given by the Shastra to us, that this is the golden age of the appearance of the golden avatar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Somehow or other, it's filtered down to him. Maybe it came from Tulsi Gabbard. Good chance. People criticize her, but she is a very powerful person on this planet now, and raised as a Vaishnava. Yes, and she chants, and she offers her food, and she practices Krishna consciousness and understands the philosophy and tries to incorporate it into what she's doing. Okay, that's okay. But the point is this: the golden age is the age not of economic prosperity, it's of spiritual enlightenment. And that enlightenment comes through the understanding that the only way that you can make advancement in spiritual life in this age is to associate with a bona fide spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, chant the Hare Krishna mantra every day without fail, and spread Krishna consciousness based on these principles. That will make the age golden. Now, unfortunately, not many people are interested. I had a Prabhu send me a message from Ukraine. Oh, yeah. I had a long talk with him yesterday, actually. And he says, oh, we've got these bead bags. They're beautiful bead bags, and they've got the zippers on them, and they've got embroidery and this and that. And we want to sell them. And hopefully he'll be at the class today, and he can present them to everybody. But my point to him was, nobody's running over to this ashram and picking up bead bags. It's hard to get people to chant. Chant, chant, chant. Can't, can't, can't. It's not like people are running here and taking up Krishna consciousness like a herd of elephants in a rush. I've got Bhagavad Gitas here. We're going to stimulate our understanding of how to utilize social media and other tools like this to distribute books and other paraphernalia for people to practice Krishna consciousness. But overall, most people are not interested. A lot of people are not interested in even coming to these programs, right? They come and go because that's their business. They can do what they want. They have independent free will. There's no one rushing in to get a bead bag and start chanting 16 rounds. Be real. You have to work at it. I'm working with a bunch of people, and it's not easy. I told my friend Darren this morning, I'm surrounded with a cluster of people, really. But how many are interested in really chanting? Not many. Hardly any. Almost zero. So we're very blessed to be in this group of like-minded devotees. Yes, and we should realize that. Don't minimize it. Realize it. There's very few people that are really serious, Pierangelo. Very serious. Most people are just whimsical. And this whimsical behavior will not enable people to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. You have to be serious. So, those are the thoughts for today. The bona fide spiritual master Krishna is not alone. He's represented by his personal bona fide spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who is non-different than Krishna. That's Achinta Beta Beta Tatma principles. We won't go through them right now. We'll let Yashodanandana and the other Prabhus discuss that. There is a difference. But there is a similarity between both. Krishna is speaking through Srila Prabhupada, period. Can't minimize that. And the bona fide disciples are the people that represent Srila Prabhupada as the bona fide guru. All the rest, bogus, compromised. And we should avoid them. You're not going to change them. We're going to go to the... those are dramatic statements. And if anybody has any point they want to bring up to us, call me up. Call Yashoda up. Let's discuss it. We're ready to discuss. Absolutely. There's so many phone calls this week, Yashoda, with different devotees, all kinds of points of view. And it's, some way to use our time carefully, Vijaya Pandit, to chip away at Maya. Like the bird trying to swallow up the ocean. Chip away. We're going to read some sections quickly from the diaries. There's a letter here from Prabhupada I wanted to read. October 29th, 1966. My dear Janice, I thank you for your letter of the 25th instant, and I've noted the contents carefully. I have complete agreement with you for the arrangement that you desire to make in connection with the exhibitor at Montreal. This is where Yashodanandana first saw Prabhupada, by the way, everyone, at the Expo, 67 Expo. Yes, we shall go in a batch for performing the Kirtan ceremony, both in the exhibition pandal as well as in the University Hall, and you can arrange this in that way. Here things are improving, and people in New York taking in importance the Krishna movement. The enclosed papers and newspaper cuttings will give you an idea. We have already published some new literatures, namely Krishna, Reservoir of All Pleasure, Who is Crazy? That's everybody. Introduction to Bhagavad Gita, almost everybody. Back to Godhead, etc. And our society is coming in prominence daily. We are just trying to purchase a property in New York at $90,000, and the students are taking the responsibility. Thus, I think there is good pros and good prospect for this society being a world organization, and you must try to have a center in Montreal as soon as possible. Under separate post parcel, I'm sending you all the above newly published literatures, and I shall request you to enlist as many subscribers for Back to Godhead magazine, because we have to submit at least 200 subscribers' names to the postal authorities for getting the concessional rates. Just a quick comment here, Nilesh. Do you know how many BTGs we used to distribute, Tom? How about 500,000 a month? In the heyday of our movement, Prabhupada called Back to Godhead the backbone of our movement. What happened to it? It's disappeared. Yes, it has. And what is that a sign of? Mismanagement, Maya entering in, the poison of change has entered into the society, and therefore BTG, instead of 500,000 magazines a month, is a pittance now of a few issues. I'm glad to learn that you are chanting regularly, and I hope you are gradually getting some enlightenment in Krishna consciousness. Our path is genuine, sublime, and easy, so there must be a worldwide organization for pushing the movement in the human society, so much afflicted by material advancement only. This is the only medium to save the people from munation. Nuclear war, probably. As my representative, you can see Mr. Luthra and arrange things as you think best. Whatever arrangement you will make on behalf of the society will be accepted by us. I understand that you've done some French rendition of my writings, including the essays, which you have taken with you. I have now about 150 sets of Bhagavatams with me. Please let me know if you have already sold the sets that you have taken from here. Hope you are well with all my good wishes for you and your wife. Yours affectionately, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And we're going to go through, I just wanted to show you a few things before we move into the class. Prabhupada was concentrating in the diary on showing his different. Do you have those pictures I sent, Rupa Goswami? Anyway, he's concentrating on the budget. He's showing his balance sheet, income and expenses. And there's a one section here where it says that the back to God had appeared in shape, and the price was 15 cents. So he was progressing along, printing books, building out his momentum with whoever he could bring in to be engaged in the service of Lord Chaitanya. And in this way, spreading the mercy to all the conditioned souls. One last point, avyakta. Devotional service is never lost. So when you engage people in devotional service, whoever it is, whenever it is, that'll be their eternal benefit. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We'll move forward with the chanting of the bhajan by Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Radha Madhava, and then the reading and discussion with Yashodanandana Prabhu from the mountains of California. And he's away from the fires. Hollywood is burning down. Hare Krishna.
Sai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. 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 सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. From Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As we do every week, we will read a few selected Sanskrit verses which were given by Srila Prabhupada himself when he started his preaching from the Bhagavad Gita in New York in early 1966. This is from the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita on page 1. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada was established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya? Give me shelter under his lotus feet. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Haripriye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Today's reading, we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text number 11. It should be noted that this reading is being conducted on the basis of the non-adulterated, original, non-interpolated 1972 Macmillan edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is. All synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Text number 12. Ateta dapyasaktosi kartum madhyugamasritaha sarvakara phalatyagam tatah kuru yatatmavan ata, even though etat, this, api, also, ashaktaha, unable, asi, you are, kartum, to perform, mat, unto me, yogam, devotional service, ashritaha, refuge, sarvakarma, all activities, phala, result, tyagam, for renunciation, tataha, therefore, kuru, do, yata atmavan, self-situated. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. If, however, you're unable to work in this consciousness, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situationed. Purport. It may be that one is unable to even sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objection from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated results of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions of the pumundi, or special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the stage of knowledge. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activity. That is also recommended here, because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the result of his action. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country, etc., may be accepted so that someday he may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, we find it is stated, Yataha pravritir ishabhutanam. If one decides to sacrifice for the supreme cause, even if he does not know that the supreme cause is Krishna, he will come gradually to understand that Krishna is the supreme cause by the sacrificial method. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasme Shigurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadati Visheshataha Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padambho Jadhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavato Smyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prista Shatakaromi Swam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now, this particular purport of Bhagavad Gita is very interesting, because we see from practical observation that many persons who are attracted to the practice of Krishna consciousness, to the activities of Krishna consciousness, sometimes experience difficulty in fully engaging themselves in the practice of bhakti yoga due to various reasons, as Srila Prabhupada mentions in his purport. And the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna does not discourage people, even though somebody may not be able to be engaged 24 hours a day, which our good friend Neil Sharma Prabhu in Florida in a previous discussion called the gold standard. This is the gold standard, the 24 karat gold standard. Still, it is beneficial for people to engage them some way or other in the activities of sacrificing for Krishna, some kind of activity besides the bodily necessities of ahar nirada bayamaitunam cha, of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We know from the Manu Samhita, there is a very famous verse that both animals and humans are engaged in these activities. These activities of ahar nirad bayamaitunam cha, samanya netat purushihi, the pashubihi means the animals, and naranam, the human being. Everybody is engaged in these four activities. But what differentiates the human being from the animals is the ability and the developed consciousness to make inquiries. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? Who is God? What is this material nature? How did this world come about? What happens after that? All of these important questions. This is the difference between the animals and the human. So in order to engage in the gold standard of being constantly engaged and thinking of Krishna all the time, if one is not able to do that, Krishna says, well, then you can engage in a practice of bhakti yoga. And if one is still not able to do that, Krishna here says, if, however, you're unable to work in this consciousness, then try to act giving up all the results of your work and try to be self-situated. If we analyze how Prabhupada structured the activities in his society, he developed a program by which people could come to the Sunday feast. We used to call it in those days the Sunday Love Feast, which was a celebration of beautiful kirtan, reading. Sometimes there will be some drama or some theatrical play about Krishna, and there will be some opportunity to people to socialize. So this is an activity which Prabhupada basically introduced to let people be engaged. For people who were not able to engage 24 hours a day, at least they could participate on some level. And when Prabhupada went to India in 1970, went back to India, he introduced a life membership program for people who are engaged with wife and children and jobs and businesses and activities, which are obviously not 24 hours a day thinking of Krishna or engage in the practice of bhakti yoga 24 hours a day. But he introduced this program by which people could be practically engaged in doing some service and some engagement in Krishna consciousness. Now, somebody may say, well, somebody may not even be able to do that for various reasons. Personally, I've been contacted by many young men in India, even some young ladies, who say, well, I'm living with my families, and my family is not a devotee. They don't practice the four principles, and they do this and they do that. Or what should I do? I said, well, the best thing you can do is keep chanting. If you have some time, keep reading. You're going to eat every day. That's guaranteed. Offer your foodstuff to Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada according to the standard given by Srila Prabhupada. Oh, if you're beautiful, look at this. This is our good friend Nilesh Sharma here. Ahar nirda bayamaitunam cha samanya detat pashubir naranam dharmo hitesham adiko vishesho dharmena hinaha pashubihi samanaha. Eating, sleeping, sex, and defense, these four principles are common to both human beings and animals, plural. The distinction between human life and animal life is that a man can search after God, but an animal cannot. That is the difference. Therefore, a man without that urge for searching after God is no better than an animal. There's an interesting story. We were on a morning walk in Vrindavan near the Keshi Ghat. This is near from the first place that Prabhupada used to be when he went from Jhansi to Vrindavan. He did not go directly to Radha Damodar. He was living near Keshi Ghat in the top floor of a big house with a view of the Yamuna. So one morning we're walking with Srila Prabhupada, and all of a sudden, this mad dog is rushing towards Srila Prabhupada. So Guru Kripa, myself, and some of the other devotees, we're getting ready to prevent this dog from attacking Prabhupada. Now, for those of you who have been to Vrindavan, especially in the winter, it gets a little cold there, and we do know they have these wild dogs. They're not like these domesticated cats and dogs in America, which are pampered, and they take him to the vet and give him all kinds of medical care and special treatment. These are wild animals. They're not domesticated animals. And some of them can be quite violent. And this dog was fairly big, and he's rushing towards Srila Prabhupada. We're looking at Prabhupada, and this dog was getting 15 feet, 12 feet, 10 feet. And all of a sudden, we were getting ready to kick that dog to prevent him from biting Srila Prabhupada. And all of a sudden, the dog got about 5 feet away, and Prabhupada said, hut, hut. And he put his cane, and the dog totally froze. He totally froze, and he paid his obeisances. He looked at Prabhupada and turned back. Now, that's obviously the power of a pure devotee. That dog, whatever he was in his past life, got some mercy from the pure devotee. I've even seen in India some dogs coming along in a Sankirtan procession. We were one time in Mangalore in South India, in Karnataka. We're having kirtan, and the brahmacharis were distributing books, and all of a sudden, somebody says, hey, Maharaj, look at this. There was a dog in the back. He was coming, and one time we're dancing, and the dog is on two legs, and you could tell either this dog was some kind of devotee in his past life, or he's attracted to the sound of the name of Krishna. Now, what Prabhupada was saying in that quote presented by Neil Sharma Prabhu is that animals usually do not have the capacity to understand philosophy. And similarly, in the human form of life, we often meet people who have a human body, but because of engagement in various negative vikarmic activities or sinful activities, do not have the mental capacity or intellectual capacity to understand spiritual life. We even see this in devotional life. Or some people don't quite understand even after hearing. I had a situation recently where somebody accused me of being a demon, saying that, oh, I don't present Prabhupada's teachings. I don't accept Prabhupada's teachings. Something related to the shape of the planet Earth and the universe. Well, very few people have complete understanding of this. Let me give an example. If we look in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, when Shukadev Goswami came down from the Himalayas to deliver the Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Yudhisthira, there are numerous great sages that assembled there. Some of these sages did not come from this planet. They came from higher planets. Narada Muni, Devala Rishi, you can read in the Bhagavatam. It's right there in the first canto in a later chapter. There are great personalities. So these descriptions of the universe are not so easy to understand for a lowly person like me, a less intelligent person like me. So if somebody's got a better understanding or a proper understanding, that is fine. Prabhupada himself, in July of 1977 in Vrindavan, we had the opportunity to sit with His Divine Grace for a few days where this was being discussed between the late secretary and a devotee named Bhakti Prem Swami. Bhakti Prem was an accomplished Sanskrit scholar, Hindi scholar, and he had very good understanding of Sanskrit grammar. And Prabhupada was engaging him in translating his purports in a Srimad Bhagavatam from Hindi, and then presented his purports from English to Hindi. And Prabhupada had given him the task of explaining the structure of the universe And there was one conversation where Prabhupada said, you should make a map and I will discuss with you how to do this. So on the basis of what we understood at the time from the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, Bhakti Prem Swami and my lowly self, we made a map of the structure of the universe, the various oceans of milk and ghee and all of these things. We presented to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, yes, this is very good. And Prabhupada gave instruction that all these purports of the great Vaishnavacharya should be properly translated. And Prabhupada said, just like I gave you my books, and the standard is Sanskrit word for word translation. Do not go directly from Sanskrit to English. No. Prabhupada said these purports should be translated from Sanskrit word for word, from Sanskrit to English, then give some English translation. And if you do this, then it will be understood. Unfortunately, I'm not aware that this has been done by anybody. There's been various attempts and various depictions and videos and all different kinds of discussions about the structure, but it is not so easy because these descriptions by Shukadev Goswami and these great personalities, great rishis who came from other planets, are from people who were looking at this from above, from a very high platform. Description of Mount Meru, description of the movements of the sun, description of the activities of Dhruvaloka. And it's not so easy because, for example, on this planet, we have, according to modern science, they've calculated the height of Mount Everest, the highest mountain on this planet, supposed to be 28,000 feet or so many meters, 8,000 meters, whatever. But when you look at the description in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the height that is given for the Mount Meru is much higher. The height of the Himalayas is much higher. So it is not easy to comprehend these various statements. And people who take Prabhupada's statements out of context, cherry picking one statement here, one statement there, and start making accusations, oh, you're a demon because you don't accept this statement. No, it is not a matter of accepting or not accepting. It is a matter of intelligent, proper, systematic, detailed discussion according to Prabhupada's instructions, something which has never been done both on the guru issue, the initiation issue, and this issue. So if anybody to launch accusations, you're a demon because of this, because of that, people should be a little bit careful. I know that many such accusations have been leveled against Vishwakarma and my lowly self. In my case, yes, it's fine. That's correct. You can launch all the accusations. In the case of Vishwakarma, they should not do that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. We'll move forward with the program. And I wanted to make a quick comment, Yashodanandana Prabhu, about people from other planets, UFOs and aliens, because there's a big question mark. It's very popular nowadays to discuss it, that there are aliens and spaceships and other living entities coming to this world. And the question is it true or not? And the answer is yes. There are people on other planets. And they're in different forms. And Prabhupada said, they reside in these planets with bodies that are suitable for that atmosphere. So even if you go to the moon, you still couldn't enter into the moon's atmosphere because you have a body made of earth and water and fire. So this is a mystery. And these mysteries, they've already been disclosed in the Shastra, in the scriptures, that there are living entities all scattered throughout the universe. And in fact, there are 8,400,000 different species of life. Do you accept that? Well, how do you know they're there? Well, how do you know who your father is? Rochisha? Devi Dasi? How do you know who your father is? You have to ask your mother. She's the only person that can give you an authentic answer. So the Vedic scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, they're our mother. And if we want to understand them, if we get the explanation from the bona fide spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we can get an understanding. Yes, there are living entities scattered throughout the universe. And there are 8,400,000 different species, 400,000 human species. These are truths that cannot be denied, but people will deny them. So just like people are claiming they went to the moon, and Prabhupada said they didn't go to the moon. They didn't go to the moon. Actually, when you look at the videos of the moon landing, it's a hoax. We know it. You can see it. It's all lies, propaganda by the Maya agents of Kali Yuga, these so-called politicians and businessmen. They're perpetrating Maya, not liberation, illusion. And further, I wanted to mention about this principle here in today's purport, where people open institutions for feeding people. They give money for charity for hospitals or social institutions. And in this way, they make some advancement. But that is not the business of the Vaishnavas, our movement, to open up these food distribution programs and get the sympathy of governments to get money. That goes on. Actually, in Sankirtan, one of the ways that you get money, Nilesh Sharma, if you ever go out and sell books for years at a time, would be, we had our devotee in Toronto who used to go out, and he would sort of pose a presentation. It wasn't misleading. It was somewhat hard to, he would speak in such a way that the people wouldn't really understand what he was saying, but he'd say something like, "We're feeding kids." And guess what? Out comes the money. People naturally give money for food distribution to children. That's a sympathetic position that people will support, very much so. But that is not our welfare work. Our welfare work is much different than that. And so we see that some of the people that we know have opened up hospitals. Well, it's a good thing. I mean, let's not deny it. I mean, helping people with a hospital, but when they're sick, is not a bad thing. But for a guru, the real business is to help people get out of the material world by understanding you're not the body. You're the eternal spirit soul, servant of Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining here in respect to social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country, etc., may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. This is the conclusion, nothing else. Another quick point, sacrifice. Here it's talking about sacrifice in this purport. We're supposed to sacrifice. Actually, Prabhupada wanted us to sacrifice our entire life to serving the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Yes. He would say, give up one lifetime for this, because there are millions of births that you've taken, possibly. But if you just sacrifice this one life in the service of Krishna, you'll get the greatest benefit. Now, someone could say, well, I don't know if I can do that. I know when I joined the movement back in the 70s, all my friends, my family were very upset with me. Extremely. So Prabhupada said here in the purport, because of social, familial, or religious consideration, or because of some other impediments, one is unable to get even sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness. So they were really mad. Why would you do that? One friend of mine said, when I came back from Toronto after I'd been in the mission for 16 years, he said, oh, you've come back. You went away. And now you're back, thank God, like we went somewhere. Yeah. We went on a journey to try to please our guru. We got involved in a mission, and now we come back. Now we can go back and go to the club and watch music again. Oh, you're such a great musician, Vishva. Oh, this is good, you're back. Well, this is the way of the materialistic man. They think that people that have become devotees, they're brainwashed. This is what Ted Patrick said to me. You're a terrorist. I told him, no, you're a terrorist at York University on the stage. You're terrorizing people by leading them into the illusion that they're the body and they will live forever in this material tabernacle, le tabernacle. No. For one who is born, death is certain. For one who has died, birth is certain. So the reality is that we are not these bodies. Now, it's hard to understand that. But at the same time, Prabhupada said, if you can give up this one lifetime to serve Krishna, to serve Guru, you'll be blessed. And in this way, you can go back to Godhead. But it requires full sacrifice. I was mentioning, Nilesh, that I'm becoming a fan of this Muslim MMA fighter. I see his clips on, his name is Khabib. And he's talking about sacrifice. And he tells the people that he's training at his school, he's got like a Gurukula environment. He says to them, you have to sacrifice everything to become a champion. Everything. And he tells the story about some Mexican guy just saying, oh, I got to leave the school and go back and see my wife and my child for Christmas. He said, no, this is not the right attitude. And the person that he's chained to become a champion gives all, by the way, this person he's chained, gives all his respect to his teacher. All respect, not minimize. This is very unique. In the ISKCON group or in the Krishna Conscious Society of Devotees, very, very little respect is shown to others. That is a fact. In fact, sometimes they even threaten to kill you because you're preaching some particular philosophy. This is unfortunate, but this is the way of the Kali Yuga. So much confusion. So getting back to the story, the person says he's talking to another MMA champion, and he tells him, you have to send your son to our school for 3 years, and you can only talk to him once every 6 months. And the other champion, he goes, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's not possible. He can come for 3 weeks, not 3 years. But how will you learn the art of MMA without full surrender and sacrifice? How will we understand Krishna consciousness if we only partially surrender? We'll only get partial realization. All of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. That's Krishna's instruction to his aspiring devotees. Surrender, sacrifice for the mission of Lord Chaitanya. We were doing that. It's true, many of the devotees down through the time that Prabhupada was with us sacrificed everything. In the case of Jayananda, he got a donation from his parents. What did he do with the $20,000, I believe? He gave all the money to Prabhupada, did not keep one penny. He gave the whole thing. Not only did he do that, he surrendered everything he was, everything he did in Prabhupada's service unconditionally. That is our movement. That's the type of inspiration that Prabhupada gave to us when he was personally present. But it's gone away. It's very difficult now, Tom, to find people that are prepared to sacrifice anything except their own false ego conception of the absolute truth according to their mental speculation. They don't listen. We can read it over and over again 1,000 times, and still we can't listen. That's unfortunate for us. So we can all pray together as a group to help each other take up this serious position of sacrifice and work together cooperatively to spread the Krishna consciousness movement in the Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association, which is the hope of the world now. Yashodanandana Prabhu, if you could please further discuss.
Well, some very important points are being raised here, and I think it's for devotees, because we hear various concerns and complaints from different individuals. Oh, you're criticizing. You people are fault finders. No, that is not a fact. What we're trying to do is to carefully analyze, establish a proper fact-finding, and then comment according to Prabhupada's teachings. Just like I was giving the example of this one devotee who launched some outlandish accusation on a basis of imperfect knowledge, cherry picking. Some people may be highly intelligent, but in order to understand conclusively spiritual philosophy and different spiritual topics called tattva, we have to be very careful what we say and what we do. We cannot be accusing people falsely on a basis of partial statements. We have to carefully study a subject in its entirety. And if somebody doesn't quite understand things according to their view, their limited frog in the well mentality, they should not make outlandish accusations. I want to read a selected section from Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is from Madhya Lila, chapter 12, text 135. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 12, text 135. This is the story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaging in the cleansing of the Gundicha temple. This is a very long purport, and I'm just going to read a section of it. It says, this is after the verse, Tanaham Dvishataha Kruran. By a practical example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown that all of the grains of sand must be picked up. You have to go further. Further. Okay, we're almost there. By his practical example, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown us that all of the grains of sand must be picked up thoroughly and thrown outside. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also cleansed the outside of the temple, fearing that the grains of sand would again come within. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura explains that even though one may become free from the desire for fruitive activity, sometimes the subtle desire for fruitive activity again comes into being within the heart. One often thinks of conducting business to improve devotional activity, but the contamination is so strong that it may later develop into misunderstanding, described as kutinati, fault finding, and pratishta asa, the desire for name and fame and for high position, jiva himsa, envy of other living entities, nisidachara, accepting things forbidden in the Shastra, kama, desire for material gain, and puja, hankering for popularity. The word kutinati means duplicity. As an example of pratishtasa, one may attempt to imitate Srila Haridas Thakur by living in a solitary place. One's real desire may be for name and fame. In other words, one thinks that fools will accept one to be as good as Haridas Thakur just because one lives in a solitary place. These are all material desires. A neophyte devotee is certain to be attacked by other material desires as well, namely desires for women and money. In this way, the heart is again filled with dirty things and becomes harder and harder, like that of a materialist. Gradually, one desires to become a reputed devotee or an avatar incarnation. The point being here, Prabhupada here, when you look at the sequence of what Prabhupada is describing in this particular paragraph, there is a progression of contamination that can happen if one is not careful. How does one becomes contaminated to that desire to become a reputed devotee or an avatar? This is nicely explained in this verse. Open it up for discussion. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Well, we know what's going on, and you can just go online and research all of this and become informed. I wanted to call on Dharma Bhavana, our friend and godbrother in Dallas, Texas. Maybe he can share a few points here today at the discussion. Is he on the screen? Or did he go away? I guess he's left us. Bhaktaran Singh, maybe you could share a few comments on today's program.
Thank you very much for the classes, Prabhus. Very exciting news we have. The books are happening, right? And then Prabhupada set up a system of becoming, purified and going back to Godhead. And he has given that formula in his original books. And we have conversations, letters. Everything is chalked out very nicely. So there's nowhere to go, no elsewhere to go. Just stick with Srila Prabhupada. And if they have any questions regarding the philosophy, we're here to help them understand and get the point across. So I really like these classes. This has been recorded. Devotees can watch it. And then if they have any questions, like you say, contact you, right? Anytime.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhus.
Haribo, well, thank you very much. Neil Sharma in Florida. You have a question for Yashodanandana or a comment?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Just wanted to make a comment on why we are sticking to Srila Prabhupada and what is the importance of sticking to the Acharya. I'd like to share something from here from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, Text 25, where Prabhupada writes in the purport, as soon as Brahma was born of the abdominal lotus petals of Vishnu, he was impregnated with Vedic knowledge and therefore he is known as Veda Garbha or Vedantist from the embryo. Without Vedic knowledge or perfect infallible knowledge, no one can create anything. All scientific knowledge and perfect knowledge are Vedic. One can get all types of information from the Vedas, and as such, Brahma was impregnated with all perfect knowledge so that it was possible for him to create. Thus, Brahma knew the perfect description of creation. as it was exactly appraised to him by the Supreme Lord Hari. Brahma, on being questioned by Narada, told Narada exactly what he heard directly from the Lord. Narada again told exactly the same thing to Vyasa, and Vyasa also told Sukadeva exactly what he heard from Narada. And Sukadeva was going to repeat the same statements as he has heard from Vyasa. That is the way of Vedic understanding. The language of the Vedas can be revealed. Look at the words used. The language of the Vedas can be revealed only by the above mentioned disciplic succession and not otherwise. If you understand the word revealed, revealed means one who can understand it. They may kind of concord what their understanding is by knowing the language or by knowing everything. But if you want to know the secret or the real meaning behind it, that is revelation. And that revelation can only be got through this parampara system, through this disciplic succession, where through the order, the mercy comes down. You see, through the order, praptasya kalyana gunarna vasya. So if you don't have this mercy, then we cannot. Why does Yashodanand Prabhu say those prayers before we start the class? Because he wants the mercy of Srila Prabhupada so that whatever he speaks, whatever he talks, it can go straight into our hearts at the soul level and can change us and help us change or modify our lives accordingly so we can practice Krishna conscious accordingly. I wonder what Yashodanand Prabhu has to say. Hare Krishna.
Please, Yashoda Nandana, please.
I've often explained that one of the reasons we recite these sacred mantras and shlokas before we begin the class, we explain it that this is what Prabhupada introduced. Before Prabhupada started his Bhagavad Gita readings early in 1966, he would recite these shlokas. When Prabhupada introduced the Srimad Bhagavatam class every day, he introduced the recitation of a few Sanskrit verses explaining the meaning. There's a meaning to these readings. It is not simply some intellectual or mental exercise. The point of reading that particular verse, and I appreciate the fact, Prabhu, that you chose that particular verse, it's very important. Just like recently I saw somebody sent me a video of a Muslim cleric criticizing Krishna having so many wives and criticizing the activities of Krishna. And somebody made a comment in one of the comments. It's obvious that this person had no understanding of who is Krishna. And this was the point, that we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. And preaching means to repeat what we hear from the Acharya without distortion, without speculation, without change, without a manufactured conclusion. It's just like I was just speaking about this one devotee that was accusing me of being a demon because I did not present Prabhupada's teachings. Well, Prabhupada's teachings according to whom? Prabhupada's teachings according to what level of realization? None of us here, especially Vishwakarma and myself, are claiming to be perfectly self-realized or paramamsas. We are simply ordinary persons. I call ourselves aspiring devotees. Aspiring devotees, aspiring someday to become a real devotee. But in this process, if somebody doesn't have perfect or complete realization, that is not a reason to castigate this person or insult this person or blaspheme a person. In my case, people can say whatever they like, it's fine. The point is, we have to look at the Shastra analysis or discussion of Srila Prabhupada's teachings according to the way that Prabhupada wanted. I personally was fortunate that I spent some time with Prabhupada in 1977 for about 10 to 15 days, massaging Prabhupada's feet at night and attending to him. And at that time, I was engaged in a Gurukul system. And several nights in a row, he kept telling me how he wanted me to preach, how he wanted me to teach the children and preach to the devotees. Prabhupada wanted things done in a special way. Like one day he asked me, he looked at me and says, well, why do you think I've presented all this word for word in my books? And I told Prabhupada, well, to teach the devotees the real meaning of the word. And Prabhupada says, I'm not interested in producing a class of Sanskrit experts. or Sanskrit scholars. That is not the point. All I want to do is devotees to understand the proper meaning so that they can also teach others. They can also give that knowledge to others. So this is a very important point. Not everybody will have the same level of realization, understanding at any given time. But Prabhupada has given us the perfect realization. That is why I very strenuously object to the cherry-picking mentality of some devotees, taking a statement out of context from Prabhupada's books and then saying, oh, you have not accepted this particular. No, it's not a matter of not accepting. It's a matter of discussing from all angles of vision, not just one text, but all the different texts from all the different angles, and then one can reach a proper conclusion. That is why Prabhupada insisted in his discussion about the universe that all the purports of the great Vaishnava Charta should be translated, and every Sanskrit word should be presented the same way that Srila Prabhupada presented it in his books, word for word explanation, and then there can be a proper English translation. Otherwise, you get a Sanskrit text with complicated words, somebody gives an English translation, and nobody can understand how they arrived at that conclusion. So these are just a few remarks. But, again, the reason why we do this, we pray to Krishna to inspire us to follow in Prabhupada's footsteps so that we can correctly and properly understand his teachings. By the way, Neil Shamar Prabhu, I love that deity of Prabhupada you have right behind your head. It's very sweet, very nice. The same thing for Pierangelo Prabhu in Switzerland. You've got little Krishna, Lord Damodar, right there on the screen. And Mother Rochisa has got Prabhupada right behind her head. Prabhupada is hearing everything going on. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, excellent. And let's connect the dots here, everyone. We have a person that's giving us these discussions and explanations of the philosophy every week, 3 times a week, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yashodanandana Prabhu. And what is he doing? He's using the same methodology because we're like children. We're neophytes. We're learning. And he's helping us understand the philosophy through this methodology that he was personally taught by Srila Prabhupada to teach the children. Think about it. How many people are doing this on this planet? How many people have this understanding? How many? Hardly anybody, if you're lucky. That's out of 7 billion people. 7 billion. This is a great opportunity for everyone to be educated properly, Tom, in Krishna consciousness. We're going to wind up the program this morning, but I wanted to mention the analogy of the frog in the well, where the frog in the well is trying to understand the length and breadth of the ocean from his own limited point of view. Is it this big, this big, this big? Not even a clue. The descending process of knowledge has to come in disciplic succession to the aspiring student. There is no other way. So this Krishna consciousness movement is authoritative. It is enlightening. It's inspiring for everyone that participates and hears it when it's not changed by other people. That's what Nilesh was pointing out. If you change things, then where is the authority? Prabhupada said that. It goes away. So hearing it, Vijaya Pandit, the authentic knowledge, this will bring us to the platform of Satchidananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss in the service of Srila Prabhupada. And that is it for today. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. All of you, thank you everyone for coming and being a part of the program. We really appreciate your participation. It is birds of the same feather flock together. And it is not very much fun when you're by yourself. We're all used to that, being on our own, isolated. And this association should be cherished and appreciated as an opportunity for us to stay inspired. Stay inspired every day to get up and do your rounds and cook your prasadam and offer it to the deities, the Boga. Distribute it to other people. Try to distribute prasadam to other people every day. And preach to others and give them books and be enthusiastic and energetic in spreading the mission of Srila Prabhupada in an authentic way. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're going to move forward with the chanting of Hare Krishna, led by Srila Prabhupada and this I'm always making a joke with our good friend Ram Raghava, 2 minutes and 54 seconds. And thank you, Ram Raghava, for your exact timing of this chant. So stick along with the chanting and Hare Krishna. All glories to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks, everybody, for participating in this lively reading and discussion. Thanks, Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, our good friend Neil Sharma Prabhu in Florida, Vijay Pandit in Oroville near Venice, Italy, Rupa Goswami in Mumbai, India, Pierangelo in all the way in Switzerland. And we have Bhakta Tom in Germany, and Mataji Rochisa in Montreal with Prabhupada right behind her head. Beautiful. And everybody who participates, Krishna Katha Prabhu in San Diego, and everybody participating in this program, please join us tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, the discussions between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva, 7 o'clock a.m. corresponding to 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Back to Godhead.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama